Great. My last few videos have been getting a little bit more negative reception because I guess a lot of people don't like it when I say bad things about albums. So, kind of terrified to see what it's gonna look like on this one. Give it our best go. Green Day is back with their 13th studio album. Very excited to say this title. Father of All Motherfuckers. Awesome. Green Day, I don't need to introduce who they are. You guys should know by now. They are one of the most popular punk rock bands in recent memory. They have been around for years upon years upon years. I think I heard that they've been around for about 3 decades now or something like that. I personally haven't really listened to a full Green Day album before this point. I know, strike me down for that. But I have grown up with a lot of the big singles from their records like Dookie, Nimrod, and of course, American Idiot. That record had some gigantic singles that were hard to avoid, hard to miss. Some pretty great ones too. I also thought it'd be worth pointing out that I also played the song Brain Stew from their 4th album Insomniac at a drum recital for my music school back in the day. Which, by the way, if you want to go check out that video in its gloriously blurry 240p state, the link to it will be in the description. But either way, I grew up on a bunch of their songs, from Basket Case to When I Come Around, Welcome to Paradise, Good Riddance Time of Your Life, and then of course a lot of the big ones from American Idiot, the title track, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Holiday, Wake Me Up When September Ends. And even though I'm not super familiar with their newer discography, this record initially intrigued me a bit when I first heard about it. On one hand, the recent live performances of theirs at the Game Awards and the NHL All-Star Game have been really entertaining. Literally, the fact that they just do not give a fuck is pretty funny. And also, kind of judging by the cover art, it seemed like this record was going to take some cues from the American Idiot era, so I was interested to see if they were going to try to recapture that. And at 10 tracks and 26 minutes, this is Green Day's shortest album yet. Not only that, but a lot of the tracks clock in below the 3-minute mark, which could be a blessing and a curse. So, does the brevity help this album's case? No. No, it does not. This thing... wow, it's really bad. For starters, if you are someone that is expecting this to be a return to the American Idiot days, no, it's not. No matter how much the cover art makes you believe that this is going to be a return to that, the American Idiot vibe isn't present really at all on this album. Many of the instrumentals are the exact opposite, and the group has trouble coming through a lot of the times with really good hooks as well. Oh Yeah is like this glitzy, glossy pop rock song that even despite being under 3 minutes, still somehow felt like it went on way too long. Meet Me on the Roof is just this cheesy 80s pop rock track that felt like it was destined for every teenage high school romance movie ever. I don't know if this was their plan, but it honestly kind of sounds like a bad Jonas Brothers impression too. And despite the hilarious title, I Was a Teenager is probably one of the corniest, cringiest tracks on this album. I like the bass line at first, but then it just became painfully annoying, and the hook is one of the most awful things this album has going for it. Not making the song any better is that it is the longest one on the album. And this whole thing of starting solid but then ending weakly continues throughout the album. I really liked the throbbing instrumentals at first of Stab You in the Heart, but wow, do they become generic after a while. Like, the guitar riffs and general vibe are so rudimentary and basic, and I get that they were going for something new, but does going for something new mean blatantly ripping off some of the most standard, base level, generic instrumental passages ever created? And while I had initially liked Sugar Youth for its faster paced instrumentals, the hook is so bland and flavorless that the only good thing about it is that it's the shortest track on the album. Junkies on a High is too much of a slow burner to be memorable in any way outside of the goofy lyric, Kool-Aid's my motto, oh yeah. I'm sure a lot of people have already talked about how edgy some of the lyrics are and how not good they are, but honestly, my brain was so fried from listening to it once that I wasn't about to listen to it again to see if I missed anything. I think another big problem that I have with this is just how cheesy a lot of the vocals are. The title track, Father of All, is ruined by some really goofy filters. They don't sound flattering to Billy Joe Armstrong's voice. I remember I had heard this song at the Game Awards and it sounded so much better there, but here, the mixing of the vocals just doesn't sound nice. Fire Ready Aim is another example of that. Some of the vocal performances are really cheesy, and even though I like the I don't give a fuck attitude of the song, the chorus just borders on being really annoying. I can't tell if they were trying to make this as like a theme song for a more cartoon. I heard some people compare it to like Phineas and Ferb, and yeah, it kind of reminds me of like something you could hear in Phineas and Ferb. The aforementioned Meet Me on the Roof has a lot of those annoying filters as well. The added reverb on something like Take the Money and Crawl doesn't add anything unique to the song, instead just making it sound silly enough to make you fall asleep. And while I was praying we would get some quality somewhere on the album, the closer Graffitia features some of the album's most blatantly forgettable hooks, and Billy's vocals are just really obnoxious on the song. Really, seriously, I was excited for this thing. Maybe it was because the live performances were so edgy and over the top that I was just rooting for Green Day, but honestly, this is just some of the most blatantly mind-numbing drivel that I've heard in a really long time. There's not a single thing about this album to me that stands out in a positive way other than the fact that it's only 26 minutes, and even then you'll probably want those 26 minutes back because there are a lot more useful things you can do with 26 minutes than listen to this. I get it. They wanted to go for something different, and that's good. But different doesn't always mean better. The album takes Carefree to a new level because it delivers some of the most painfully, insultingly generic instrumentals you'll probably hear. Billie Joe Armstrong's vocals are often either obnoxious or just drowning in terrible filters. And other than the length, the only good thing about this album to me is the title. That's it. Honestly, listening to this thing made me feel queasy, sleepy, and it kind of gave me a bit of a migraine. There's not much else I could say other than to just avoid it. Even if your edgy friend from middle school Quadruple Dog dares you to listen to it, just don't take the bait. I don't even have a favorite track. Least favorite tracks, pretty much all of them. And yeah, this album's gonna get an awful rating from me. I'm sorry, Green Day fans. This was just really bad. But that is just my opinion on it. Some of you guys probably really enjoyed it. Some of you really didn't. What did you guys think about it? And as someone that hasn't really listened to their full discography, I've heard some people say that they have worse records than this, so inform me. Let me know in the comments. Where does this rank in Green Day's massive discography? Is it on the high end to you? Is it on the low end? Is it the worst? Is it somewhere in the middle? Just let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Let's keep this civil and have some fun. If you guys want to hit like and subscribe, thank you. If not, it's no problem. I get it. As for what's next in terms of album reviews specifically, next week is Justin Bieber's new album. I can only hope that it's good after how bad Yummy was. I will give it a chance though, and you will hear my thoughts on it next week. So stay tuned for that, but until then, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.